From the start, it's always been about being able to say and do what I wanted artistically without someone in a boardroom saying, well, it should be this way.
They do it for a different reason. If the world gets it, great.
If someone were to come in and rhyme on a track with Armand Hammer, you're rhyming with two of the best lyricists on the planet.
There was an immediate sense of like strength in that name.
Two things together more powerful than individually.
We have a bold vision. It's uncompromising.
There's central themes that run through it. Life, humanity, society, race, love, hate.
We got a lot of sex records too.
There's a decent amount of stuff.
We were operating in plain sight doing what I thought was like very like high-powered work. Nobody really like paid attention to it. People love to put this tag on what you do, it's ahead of its time, and I hated that. Like I'm of now. Like what I'm doing is for now.
It's kind of a backhanded compliment, yo, it's ahead of its time.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Queens. New York City, for a large-sized city, it's a small rap scene. Me doing it and trying to climb the ranks, just seeing competition. And I saw the name Billy Woods.
I mean, I always call Woods the James Baldwin of rap. Woods has a lot of historical references, people specifically.
My mother is a Shakespeare scholar, and I got from my mother the love of the written word, poetry.
Lucid is like doing shaman work up there. He's like sitting Indian style levitating. You just get into the tones of the notes he's using.
He's cutting. It's just like jum, jum, like different pockets too that you don't expect.
He's confident all the time.
Yeah, for better or worse,
So
I don't
different
really second guess myself. We had met at a live show, and then from that meeting into the studio.
He told me, I was like, yeah, we're gonna get a verse from this cat Lucid. And it's funny because I remember the first time I heard it, they sent the vocals in. I was like, oh. That energy between the two of them, I was like, oh, this is different. This is something special.
We did a couple songs, and I thought, man, if we were in a group, it would be really interesting.
I was like, well, what's the name of the group? Like, what are you doing? It's like, it's called Armand Hammer, and the album's called Race Music. I'm like, sign me up.
For me, the trust was almost immediate because I already see what he can do by himself.
I tend to think a lot about structure, and he works very instinctually, so those two things benefit each other.
When you hear something like shark fin soup, Mott Street noodles up my mouth when I talk, it's like, okay, other people aren't doing this. The imagery is so vivid, is so much to dig into.
When Armand Hammer started, the way the bars were coming at you was very much in the forefront.
The vocals had to be very present and up front because they're spitting so much, you can't miss stuff.
You can actually have a conversation off of one line here and there. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold on, let's stop right there and just unpack it. They're not smart in a condescending way. Like, it's thought-provoking.
Sometimes we don't even write together. Even if it's done separately, we're still on the same wave. Same references, same keywords end up in the songs together. The friendship informs like the process. It informs that intangible thing that makes Armand Hammer records like really click.
I've seen groups, they rarely stay together. It's tough, it's a relationship. The respect level is really there for them too, and like the camaraderie with the art.
For a while, certain type of rap was just kind of like pushed to the side in favor of like whatever became popular. Like, you want to get hot, you should do this. And I still may have a little chip on my shoulder about that because I never stopped doing the thing that they said stop doing. Yeah, it wasn't like anyone was like hollering at us to come do shows, and we just made our own shows. I guess we created our own scene with our people.
Backwoods is a breeding ground for creative individuals.
The craft of the music comes first. We're not in the business of, excuse my French, making any whack.
A Backwoods record has that energy. It's like, this is gonna be creative, it's gonna be different, it's gonna challenge me, and it's gonna be worth it. On this roster, you're encouraged to push the envelope, to think out of the box. And the honesty in that message is supported and fostered to grow.
I'm a generally competitive person, So linking up with Woods and just like recognizing his gift and be like, all right, so I gotta stay at pace, half step, full step, 2 steps ahead, you know?
The ethos of Backwoods is don't come halfway, because you will get roasted.
You have to have a certain exquisite mastery of your pen. Otherwise, your song gonna get cut. And trust me, I got songs with Armand Hammer that have been cut.
They were doing shows, even if they were little, had a fan base. And it's kind of like reminds me of the early days of Fat Beats and Raucous. And it was like when there was independent artists. Earl is the reason that I even connected with them. One day he was watching and I was like, yo, what is this? These dudes are way too good for me not to have known. Like, what rock was I under? People might think when they see it that it's like, oh, these dudes were probably hitting up Al, and it wasn't like that. I reached out to them.
Alchemist, he just called me out of nowhere. Of course, played it cool.
When we got on the phone, my immediate thing was like, let's do something, me and you. And he was like, what about doing some Armand Hammer? I was like, hell yeah.
And then once we got off the phone, I called Bruce, was like, yo.
He knows who we are and he wants to work with us.
Yeah, it was very, 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 very.
It was very unbelievable. His work is like outlasted so many eras in rap, and it's just like, wow.
This is one of those moments where you kind of know, okay, it's time to make something special.
And I was like, yo, to be honest, I don't want to do what I'm doing for anyone else. You're inspiring me. I want to make some beats that is like a different style for me, but can fit.
Al wanted to come in and do an Armand Hammer record, not have Armand Hammer do an Alchemist record.
And I was like, this is a challenge. You know, we came up with the Grammy nominated, and I was like, I want to with Armand Hammer.
And so I went there and hung out with him.
Let me know it was real.
Yeah.
That's when it really became like a reality.
They take their seriously. They're really organized. I'm not used to that. And I think it comes from all those years of being off the radar and running a legitimate business. They've already been doing it so long, it ain't like this isn't gonna make or break them anyways. We're not here to take credit for their success, just here to help push it off further and align ourselves with things that we think are dope.
The state of hip hop in New York today is hip hop is alive. There's a youth movement, there's an old head movement. Armand Hammer's place is the Ozymandias statue if it didn't crumble.
A lot of the clubs are gone. A lot of people who were the stalwarts then maybe aren't rhyming anymore. But Backwoods has been able to stay consistent because it's been a consistent vision.
I found a flyer the other day. 2003, we did a concert. This is a long time in the making.
Seeing them on the stage in Central Park definitely felt good.
Felt like homecoming.
There were lots of fans, and there were also like all manner of people.
All right, we pulled it off, you know what I mean? It's this being heard.
We've got the most eyes and ears and attention on the things that I'm making right now. And it feels like a little nerve-wracking, but also hella exciting. Trying to put like my best foot forward and all these things, but also like confident in what we've built to get here. We can take it as far, as high as we want to reach, you know? Creating art is advantageous to be honest. Being bold, I think integrity comes out of that.